Hi, everybody. It's Daphne Canales-Lees from Spartan Spark with another episode of Turning Lemons into Lemonade. So today I have somebody who has been in the people and culture space for 21 years. She is now the leading lady in coronavirus HR, an overnight expert. And she just got back from Palm Springs right on time. So good thing she works remotely. Welcome, Michelle Berg.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing. You've been super busy. It's so hard to get a hold of you, and everybody wants to know you and talk to you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, again, that's what overnight expert in COVID-19 will bring you. I was really tired last night, and I came up with a song where it's like, I sure got a couple of and I won't sing it because I have a terrible voice, but I got a couple of complaints yesterday. I've had complaints about our service, and getting a hold of me has been one of the challenges. But they all are pretty happy about having us now in their back pocket. I think we've been referred to as insurance multiple times. So what have we been up to? I won't lie. This has been the craziest in 21 years. This has been the craziest experience I've ever had. I'm honored that we have been chosen as a partner for so many different clients where we're supporting them with really tough decisions about what they're going to do next with their business. On one side, it's all about employees. On the other side, we're getting asked tons of questions about business continuity planning as well. So we're really going into that right sizing kind of environment. We're doing that a lot right now, but the right sizing is turning into downsizing. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of consoling, a lot of talking people off the ledge, a lot of solution building right now as to what's next. And I feel like I am overloaded with so much information. And every day at 4:30 we're listening to the premier and what is he going to say, and just making sure that our employers and clients and friends are getting the information as quick as possible. So I'll say the majority is really talking about saying goodbye to employees. Mm-hmm. And that's been really hard.
And I think I have to commend you on how quick you have been at getting information. And so you have a document on LinkedIn that shares how to do the whole EI process, and you guys walked through the whole thing, took screenshots. Is amazing, and how we're only on day like 3-4, and you've taken the time to do that. So that's been really helpful to a bunch of entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yeah. And I think, for us, it was recognizing that, we're here for the employers. It's the employers who hire us. But because we're so experiential based in everything that we did, we really wanted to understand what it's like for an employee who's been let go, and to make sure that experience it's already painful. It's absolutely painful. But, from that perspective, we just wanted to really make sure. And so by doing it ourselves, we could give more guidance on what that experience is like.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the questions that you get asked a lot from employers. So what are you seeing that's happening out there?
In the beginning, I think everybody thought it was ludicrous that they were going to let everybody work from home. So really understanding what that looks like and how to do it. I have been one of those proponents that 9 to 5 in an office does not mean that they're productive. And so there's been so many managers or again, employers who think, no, they got to come to the office. It's the only way we know if they're working. Mm-hmm. And so realistically now they've been pushed into the situation where they've got to allow for their employees to be working from home, and they don't know how to do that. Mm-hmm. We talk so much about KPI, key performance indicators and KPIs and goal setting, and we would talk about it, but now that they have this distance from each other, like, oh, we should really do that. How do we set that up? So we were asked lots of questions around accountability and team charters and team expectations. Those were kind of the first few questions when the shutdown started. And then it really morphed into when the schools were closed. Well, how do I know my employee is working for us if they're taking care of their kid all day long? And so again, it's helping them to come up with different strategies. And trust me, like, I thought it would not be this big of a deal to have a 5-year-old flitzing around the whole time. It is hard. And so again, we're talking and coaching and taking them off the ledge of, you got to have empathy in this time, and if it means that work's done a little bit earlier or a little bit later or sporadic throughout the day, just because they're not answering your Skype call or your Slack message within 5 minutes, they will get to it. They they're just
Yeah, I
trying
think
to
that's a big
balance both.
conversation that's going around right now, is the empathy that we need to have for everybody, because people are under a lot of stress. Everybody's dealing with it differently. And so as employers, we need to really think about that. Spend that.
So then now, as it's morphed, where the impact is with the restaurants and not having events that are bigger than, 50 people, that kind of a thing. Now the questions are all around temporary layoffs and what that looks like. They last 60 days. Unfortunately, now, even from a 60-day perspective, today listening, saying that this is going well into June, was what Premier Kenny had said. And same with Dr. Hinshaw. She had also made some mention to that. Yeah. I think, the sheer reality of, I can't last this long, and what does this look like? But again, this morning, we do a lot in the hospitality industry. And so they said that there were, in the town of Banff alone, there was upwards of almost total 1,000 layoffs today. And we continue to support and help where we can. So it's overwhelming listening to the stories. I'm not a psychologist by trade, I'm not a counselor even, but I'm hearing all these stories of just sheer angst and not knowing what's going to happen. And I think the worst part about it is the government really doesn't know either. So trying to be that source and of comfort and reason. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to convince myself more than them, that we're all going to get out of this okay. So it's really morphed over the last few days. I will say I did a webinar on Friday, and the information that I said on Friday already has changed exponentially to today. And so I feel like I'm constantly being challenged. Well, you said this. I'm like, I've also said that it changes every 6 hours. Yeah. So, yeah.
And what should employers know for those that are laying or considering laying staff off? What kind of tips can you give them, or advice or warnings? Be careful with. Yeah,
it's funny. None of these layoffs are happening the way that we would traditionally recommend to happen. We would think about, how you let somebody go, in what manner do you let them go. We used to say you got to be so careful and so prescriptive around it. And even in talking to, we get a lot of legal counsel at Elevated as well. And there just really there is no common law, and that's often a phraseology that we'll use. Well, common law says this and common law says that, but there's no precedence right now. And so, we get advice, and there's this real fine line of we're still encouraging you to follow line by line what the law is. Specifically, when it relates to temporary layoffs, there's still a notice period that you're going to go on a temporary notice that's required. But we are seeing a lot of organizations just skip that notice period. And so I think there could be some fallout from that. And yet in the Alberta code anyways, in section 62, it does reference C, where you let somebody know that they're going to be temporarily laid off as practically possible. And so, that's where, again, in employment law, there's no black and white. It's a lot of gray. And so that's the place where I'm like, oh, is that going to stick? But long story short, I would take the risk right now anyways and wait 6 to 8 months, because I want these employees to come back. I'm going to do right by my employees if I need them to do me a favor right now. And I'm in the same spot. I've got 9 employees as well that I'm responsible for. So I'm thinking about the same things and what would I do in that situation. And for me, I've just been really transparent with my own staff. We are crazy busy. In fact, I can't remember the last time we weren't this busy. But there's a huge fear that we're not going to get paid either. We are already being asked for favors around payments. And so that means we're all working for free. And, our runway ourselves isn't that huge. So I'm thinking about all these things. And yet my number one goal is just to help. I belong to a women's membership group, and the amount of support that they are requiring right now, it's my calling to help. So I don't even care about it.
I hear you. I'm getting calls every day. What can I do? What should I be doing? How can I, and I'm like, okay, let's spend a half an hour. Let's spend an hour, whatever, and that's what it's about. And I think that's what this is about, is like, how do we help each other? And we'll all, if we all stick together and share our knowledge, that's how we're going to make it through this in a good way. Yeah, I'm getting calls every day. What can I do? What should I be doing? How can I, and I'm like, okay, let's spend a half an hour. Let's spend an hour, whatever. and that's what it's about. And I think that's what this is about, is like, how do we help each other? And we'll all, if we all stick together and share our knowledge, that's how we're going to make it through this in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I've been questioned a few times, by some of my team, what, you did that, or you said that, or you gave out that resource. Don't you think it's worth something? And I said, yeah, it's worth something for all of us to be solid and sticking together right now. And I don't feel like anything that I've got in particular is proprietary anyways. I've lived in it. And so I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I want everyone to like come ask for free stuff. Let's just
We're going to have to do a webinar, and then they'll all ask, at once, so that you can not take 25 phone calls.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any specific tips for employers who are worried about the whole process, who've never gone through it? Anything that, like, mistakes that you're seeing happen out there?
I'm seeing a delay in processing of the ROEs, specifically when people were self-isolating and needing to be off for self-isolation purposes. But even in the temporary layoff process, an employee doesn't need the ROE to begin the EI process. It doesn't. However, it does delay it if you're not doing it. And what it often means is that you're going to have to run an extra payroll run to get those electronic ROEs completed. Mm-hmm. So I'm just seeing like there's not enough understanding. The other thing that I'm seeing too is that they're writing so many comments inside the ROE boxes, which also delays payment in a lot of ways as well. So you want to keep it as clean as possible. Realistically, the two places that you want, it's either a shortage of work or it's off for illness. And then that's that. And I think Service Canada sees this all as everyone's doing this for COVID right now. There's no other reason that this is happening other than COVID. Yeah. So like, don't worry about it. But again, we don't know of anyone that's received their benefits yet. We know that the lines are long. Some people have paper ROEs that they're still doing, and they can't even get a paper ROE. So it's been the most frustrating process. But again, all of that just causes further delays. Mm-hmm. So I just say, like, jump on it as soon as you can. Yes, it might cost you an extra payroll run, but it's so worth it. And then just remember not to promise something you can't deliver on. So if you don't know, just say you don't know, but don't say, hey, we're going to be back at this in 2 weeks. And that I am hearing, this is going to be fine. March 31st, we're all going to be back to work and it's going to be back to normal. And I'm thinking, no, did you not watch China? Have you not seen Italy? Like, those are the trends you're supposed to be watching right now. Yeah. I do want to big shout out to the nurses and the doctors and the overburdened hospitals right now and all that they're doing for our community and for our province. Those are the real heroes for me. I am just trying to support in a really tough time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it's, you always think about what's your purpose. And I feel like this is my purpose. I definitely have no doubt about that.